When the third regulatory period ended on June 30 of 2015, ERC did not conduct a review because they did not do the issues paper and the RDWR, which they are doing now. And the fourth regulatory period ended last June 30, 2019. We are now on the fifth. The fourth regulatory period was finished on the basis of an interim average rate, which was an average derived from the third regulatory period without review, without audit, without verification.
Suma total, kasi mahihilo ang publiko, sigurado mahihilo, no? Dito sa dami ng detalya. Pero suma total, ibabalik ko, kung kaya ng China na 5 pesos per kilowatt hour ang bayad, no, ng publiko nila, ay bakit tayo nasa halos 8 pesos 50 centimos, no?
I've got someone waiting for me. When I see her, I know that she'll say, hey, 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 it's a beautiful day. Hot, 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 beautiful Sunday.
Hey, 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 it's a beautiful day. Okay, Kabutch, so let's move on to this latest on the ERC. Ano yung natuklasan mo, Kabutch?
Actually, Kamentong, yung mga pinag-usapan natin for the past 20 minutes or so, talagang mahalaga yun because sa tingin ko halos lahat ng matatalakay mo sa kuryente at sa Meralco ay talagang mahalaga para sa lalo na sa nakararami na households. Pero ito lang ang immediate. Kasi the past 2 weeks, sumilip ako sa or last week sumilip ako sa website ng Meralco ng Energy Regulatory Commission. May nakita ako na press release or posting nila, dalawang magkasunod, na ang sinasabi ng ERC, literally pounding its chest and proclaiming proudly na inutusan namin ang utilities na nasa PBR, Performance-Based Regulation, para isoli nila yung mga nasingil na fees sa atin para sa so-called regulatory reset experts. Okay. Ang pangalawang utos na yun, follow-up na press release, in-enumerate na nila kung magkano ang isosoli ng mga specified na utilities. And by the way, Meralco was not even specified in the enumeration. Nakalista na kung magkano ang isosoli. Okay. Background. Ang regulatory reset expert ay ang basihan doon sa regulations and rules for setting distribution wheeling rates na ginawa ng ERC sometime in about 2008. Sumulat sila mismo ng provision na sinabi kung kinakailangan or magiging obligasyon ng ERC na kumuha ng regulatory reset expert. Medyo sa wording pa lang, dispalinghado na. Regulator ka, ba't ka mauobliga kumuha ng expert? You're supposedly the expert.
That's right.
So, pag naobliga daw sila na ganun, ang magbabayad ang distribution utilities. Therefore, tayo yon dahil ipapasa sa atin. So, on that basis, naningil itong mga utilities ng regulatory reset expert fees. Sa case ng 18 privately owned distribution utilities, ang pinakamalaki ang singil, as usual, Meralco. Ang parati nilang justification dyan, they're about 80% of the market. So, logically daw, sila yung malaki ang masisingil na ganon. Ang combined na nasingil ng Meralco was 500 plus million. Pero, out of the 18, kung titingnan mo, ang pinakamaliit na nasingil ay 117,000 yata. Mayroon isang utility, 117,000. Tayo, Meralco customers, siningil ng 500 million.
Rounded off.
Okay. Surprising ito because bago ito, I was writing a series of letters to ERC. Ni hindi pa kay Chairman Di Banadera, Chairman Ducot pa. And I was asking, kasi nakita ko ito sa rules Kung mayroon kayong regulatory reset experts and consultants, bigyan nyo ako ng listahan ng mga consultants na yan, under what terms, ano yung mga kontrata. katakot-takot na hedging, etc., never got an answer. Finally, mayroong akong natanggap na sulat. As far as Meralco was concerned, sabi nila, for the third regulatory period, the 201 million na siningil namin remains untouched because we did not engage a regulatory expert. Inaffirm din ito ng ERC. As per our record, wala. So I was surprised nung nakita ko na nagpapasoli. So out of curiosity, tinignan ko yung in-enumerate ng ERC na dapat isusoli ng utility na sa unexpended amounts and compared it doon sa na-approve sa application kasi naka-state yun doon sa annual revenue requirements nila na in-approve. May mga diferensya. Halimbawa, yung San Fernando, ang siningil nila 5.8 million, ang ipinapasole 1.3 million. So, yung difference na yon, ibig sabihin mayroon silang kinontrata. Ano yung sinasabi nila na wala silang kinontrata? Yung Meralco, 515 million, pero hindi naman sinasabi kung magkano ang ipasusoli. Instead, ang sabi ng press release ni Chairman Di Banadera, pagsusoli daw ng 0.04 centavos ang Meralco per kilowatt hour. But again, misleading yun dahil ang amount noon will depend on the volume of sales. Kung ilan ba ang nabenta mo before you are able to arrive at kung paano ang gastos na yan. So, ang refund na yan. So, maraming questions na lumalabas. And tomorrow, I plan to go to ERC and seek clarification on this. But offhand, already, gusto ko nang ma-raise yung mga questions na yan. Because, in the first place, bakit kayo kukuha ng so-called regulatory reset experts samantala kung naalaala natin noong refund ng 2003 and 2002 na umabot ng more than 30 billion ang nag-audit noon Commission on Audit.
That's right.
At saka nasa regulations at sa batas yun na ang dapat gagamitin nila Commission on Audit. Ba't ka kukuha ng private na ang nag-i-engage ang utility na supposedly kino-audit mo or nire-review mo.
Yung ERC mismo, dapat sila ang nag-audit, di ba?
Exactly. So, maraming mga questions dyan na dapat sagutin. First point yon. Ang second point, unrelated to this, ang ERC mayroon public consultations bukas tungkol sa RDWR or rate setting rules nila for ang tawag na nila ngayon combined 4th and 5th regulatory period, gagawin bukas 2 to 5 doon sa ERC office nila sa Pasig. Itong rate reset expert or consultant na fee, kasama yan doon sa PBR. Yung i-consultation nila bukas na RDWR, PBR yon. So, ang tanong ko ngayon, nasaan ba talaga tayo, ma'am? Anong basis nyo na ni-review nyo itong particular component ng fees and charges ng utilities, kung bukas pa lang, nagko-consultation pa kayo tungkol sa pagpapatupad ng audit or review nito. Kaya tayo, mula pa noong 2014, inihingi na natin sa ERC na umpisahan nila yung review ng mga PBR charges na ito na kasama itong regulatory reset expert na hindi nila ginawa for the past 2019 mula nung 2010 hindi na nag-review ang ERC ng mga PBR charges ng utilities sa atin, notably ng Meralco. Pagkatapos makikita natin one small part of the regulatory of the charges na singil sa atin, inaudit na nila at nagpapa-refund. Anong basis ng refund na yon? In fact, a side question to that is, under the PBR RDWR, in addition to the regulatory reset experts, binigyan pa nila ang Meralco ng 1.8 billion na regulatory liaison and compliance fund na pambayad din ng consultants. So yung sinasabi mong refund, ERC, saan ba yan? Tungkol ba yan sa regulatory liaison and compliance? Kung hindi, ano nangyari doon sa consultants na hinire doon?
So, dito sa lahat na to, nakikita natin na lahat ng gastos nila, administrative overhead, kung may consultants man sila, sa atin din kinukuha. Tayo din ang nagbabayad. So, anong kapital nila?
Wala talaga silang kapital.
Oo.
Ang sistema kasi doon, Kamentong, bago itong sinasabi nila na PBR, Performance-Based Regulation, Return on Rate Base, ang sistema, ang utility, mag-i-invest. After having invested, pupunta siya sa regulator at sasabihin niya, I invested this much, you should allow me a maximum of 12% return on my investment, and this is now my new rate based on that, based on those parameters. Ngayon, sa PBR na ginawa nila noong 2008 inumpisahan at kinonceptualize in 2003, magsasubmit sila ng spending budget sa ERC, sasabihin nila, ito yung aming budget na gagastusin to provide the service for 4 years, sisingilin namin sa customer, then after 4 years, as it turns out now, bahala na si Batman kung paano namin ginastos yan.
Okay.
Because ERC has not looked into the expenses and collections ng utilities since 2010. Wala nang naging
This is
review
in
ng
fact,
PBR.
this mga audit consultants rate reset is one of the smaller aspects of
minuscule. It's a very small item. The total revenue requirements ng Meralco for the third regulatory period was something like 216 billion pesos. 216 billion. Itong regulatory reset expert is only 500 million. Although the regulatory liaison and compliance was 1.8 billion. And mind you, that's only the third regulatory period that we are able to track, because when the third regulatory period ended on June 30 of 2015, ERC did not conduct a review because they did not do the issues paper and the RDWR, which they are doing now. And the fourth regulatory period ended last June 30, 2019. We are now on the fifth. The fourth regulatory period was finished on the basis of an interim average rate, which was an average derived from the third regulatory period without review, without audit, without verification.
Suma total, kasi mahihilo ang publiko, sigurado mahihilo, no? Dito sa dami ng detalya. Pero suma total, ibabalik ko, kung kaya ng China na 5 pesos per kilowatt hour ang bayad, no, ng publiko nila, ay bakit tayo nasa halos 8 pesos 50 centimos, no?
Kamentong, nung pinag-uusapan yung third regulatory period in 2010, ang proposal ng Meralco was 1 peso and I think 48 centavos per kilowatt hour ang sisingilin nila na DSM. Ang counter na figure na sinasite ni the late Mang Naro Luwalhati in opposing it, sabi niya, dapat ang singil nyo lang is 90 centavos per kilowatt hour. Ang inapprove ng ERC was 1.22 per kilowatt hour. The difference between 90 and 1.22
magkano inapprove ng ERC over 0.9?
1.22 over 0.9.
Kumita ERC ng mga 0.3 dyan.
Even if assuming at that time ang sale ng Meralco was 28 or 26 billion kilowatt hours annually, that is still 32 centavos times 28
Pinagpiesta,
billion.
no, yan, nung panahon ni Noy
pero
Aquino.
yan liban pa doon sa generation na sobra din ang kita, no?
Ako Kamentong, I'm very confident na kung hihimayin isa-isa yung mga nasingil ng Meralco sa atin based doon sa kanilang annual revenue requirement na inapprove ng ERC, kung himayin yan isa-isa, marami ang lalabas talaga ng mga overcharges. Kanina nabanggit ni Kaado yung mga subsidiaries. Siningil tayo ng more or less 12 billion billings and records. Tayong lahat nagpupunta sa Bayad Center. Ang Bayad Center is a subsidiary
of
Meralco.
Kaya nga
Tayo na nagpupunta, ang Bayad Center kinontrata ng Meralco using our rate charges para bayaran for the service. Kaya umaabot ng 12, saan ka nakakita records keeping 12 billion pesos?
Ito, nakakaturete na ang pagsasamantala sa atin dito sa kuryente.
Sobra-sobra na.
At kanina, sa labas po ng diskusyon na to sa ere, nabanggit nga ni Kaado yung politika sa likod yan na may kamay ang mga Macapagal, no? Si Gloria Macapagal Arroyo at yung kanyang asawa. Kaya po na-appoint si De Banadera, bata po yan ng mga nila Arroyo, and so on. So,
malaki yung biniling shares of stock dyan ng mga Arroyo sa San Miguel Corporation.
Kay ni Ramon Ang. No? So, yan ang mga intertwining and interlocking connections
Actually, as a matter of legislative policy, nung unang binuo yung EPIRA, mayroon talagang absolute cross-ownership limit. I mean, if you're in generation, you're in generation. If you're in distribution, di ka pwedeng magpunta sa generation. Okay. Absolute limit yon. In the watered-down version na na-approve, nilagyan ng percentage cap yun.
Okay.
At dapat, ibalik yung absolute limit na yun ng cross-ownership.
Pero they're already ahead of us.
7 minutes before the end of the program, no, we have other things agenda. No? So, itong kuryente, continuing yan. 20 taon na natin tinututukan ito. No?
More or less. Yeah.
Kasi kailangan ayusin ito. And this should be the final, if not, no, act, no? Of President Duterte na ayusin ito and ibalik sa publiko ang pag-aari nito. Ano?
Sa pagtatapos, sasabihin ko lang na they are already way ahead of us dahil sinisingil na si Kamentong ng bago na naman nilang gagamiting puhunan.
Ayan ang parusa sa atin, itong kuryente. No?
At dahil tatanga-tanga sa bayan ng Pilipino.
Yung mga oposisyon, mga EJK, kung ano-ano mga issue, kung ito lang tulungan nila tayo, babalik ang sikat nila. Pero wala eh. Kasi sila din kontrolado nitong galamay na to.
Ang aking appeal sana, Kamentong, kung makakarating sa Pangulo, a direct hand na sana mag-create siya ng office or task force or group that will specifically address yung protection ng consumers in the utility sector. Okay. Mag-create ng specific office na ganon para hindi tayo katulad ngayon patumpik-tumpik, at least ma-institutionalize yung consumer protection.
Okay, so maybe we can focus on that advocacy. Now we have 5 minutes before the news break at 9:55. I'll just review some of the, again, major issue din ito. Kasi itong mga American boys, no? And sila Ramon Ang, sila Manny Pangilinan, boys din yan. Kaugnay nila, sila Carpio, etc. But lately, paulit-ulit nila sinasabi, bakit hindi tayo sumunod sa Vietnam para magmatigas, no? Tulad sa Vietnam. Ano ba ang napapala ng Vietnam sa magmapatigas sa China? Wala naman po. Si Duterte nakaka 60-40 arrangement dun sa oil development, 60% for the Philippines without a fight. Ano? Marami naman nagsasangayon tulad nitong editorial ng Malaya, July 26. Last month, an article appeared in Forbes magazine written by Panos Morducacutas advising President Duterte to do the right thing and emulate Vietnam and stand up to China, protect the interests, the resources, and the lives of the Filipino people from China's aggression. Daw, the Philippine government, sabi ng Malaya, said this won't hold water, and Malacanang is unimpressed in the handling of both Vietnam and Malaysia in their maritime dispute with China. Asked if Vietnam's move should serve as a model for the Philippines to address its own disagreements with China, presidential spokesman Salvador Panelo said it means also that Vietnam is risking an armed hostility between the two countries and risking the lives of its own people. From Bulletin, Manila Bulletin, kasama na ang Tempo at Balita, a win-win approach to tapping the South China Sea resources. President Duterte has chosen to negotiate rather than fight like Vietnam once did. Vietnam has since joined the other ASEAN in agreeing to the drawing up of a code of conduct to guide the various nations surrounding the South China Sea with the goal of preventing violent confrontations and settling disputes instead through consultations and diplomacy. The Philippines and China will start later this year an oil exploration and development project in the Calamian area west of Palawan with a 60-40 sharing agreement in favor of the Philippines. This is part of the win-win strategy that the Philippines has chosen in its dealings with China as they move to develop the Asia's natural resources that has long been exploited by outsiders. So ganyan din po sa Tempo at sa Balita. Yan dalawang editorial na yan. And then from Alex Magno, may column siya noong July 27, Frenemies. Last week, another confrontation broke out between Hanoi and Beijing over the marine survey conducted by the Chinese ship Haiyang DZ-8. China's foreign ministry issued a statement that read, China resolutely safeguards its sovereignty and maritime rights and at the same time uphold controlling disputes with relevant countries via negotiations and consultations. No? The Vietnamese foreign ministry promptly retorted, without Vietnam's permission, all actions undertaken for foreign parties in Vietnamese waters have no legal effect. The two apparently hostile statements, read carefully, actually opened the door to negotiations down the road. Both parties are, after all, pragmatic players and will work out suitable solutions down the road, guaranteeing everyone's satisfaction. Mas maganda ang kay Duterte. The negotiations and compromise before any confrontation.
Ang maidagdag ko lang sa opening line mo is, alam mo, 100% of nothing is nothing. 60% of something is something.
And more than 50%.
Kaso yung calculator ni Robredo gamit nila eh. Paano na tayo? So tama sila, Kamentong. Vietnam should follow the Philippines.
And we can go back to history. Vietnam nadurog, 4 million nang namatay sa Vietnam War. Sa Second World War, ang Thailand ang siyang hindi nasaktan kasi marunong siya maglaro. Tayo nagpaggamit sa Estados Unidos, 1 milyong Pilipinong namatay. Okay, mabuti si Presidente Duterte natuto sa history. And then from Rod Gapunan, chronological order of our claim in the South China Sea. So marami siyang paliwanag dyan. We don't have time to read this. And then meron pa pang iba. From Yan Makabenta, itong araw na to, kahapon, 27 kahapon, ang kanyang pamagat, bolting over an endless argument by dropping a name. Sabi niya, Duterte could have asked the tag team of Antonio Carpio, Albert De Rosario, and Conchita Morales to produce one international document that recognizes or refers to the West Philippine Sea as part of the Philippines. They would be reduced to a tautology, referring to their own statements in the West Philippine Sea. Nababanggit na ni Ado yan at ng ibang mga kasama natin, walang ibang bansa na kumikilala sa pangalang West Philippine Sea.
In fact, it's not even part of our laws. It's just an executive order.
Salamat kay
Thank you.
Kay Ado, kay Celso. And until next week pa, we'll be together again in a great Sunday show. Mabuti at andito po ang ating mga kasama. Next week, we'll have more. Maybe Glenn Chong will join us. Maraming salamat and have a good day.
Someone waiting for me. When I see her, I know that she'll say, hey.